working on in their community, that people come to them and ask them, once they learn that they have the genius, they're constantly asking them for help. Okay, thank you so, so much for being part of our genius community. We really, really appreciate you. And let's see if we can, something weird is going on with the YouTube stream. That's great fun. You guys, this is really important stuff to talk about. So it's wonderful to be with you to do this. And let's go ahead and get this rolling. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for being part of our genius community, and thanks for hanging out with us. We really greatly appreciate you. And we're going to talk today about spinal energy. We have a bunch of other things to talk about. So thank you so much for being part of our community. It's my great honor to be able to bring you these concepts as we have over the past 10 years. I want to answer your questions, so you can ask your questions in the chat. It really want you to use the genius and get the most out of it, because once you understand the basics of the genius, you can take it in the direction that you want to go. And there are incredible places that you can go with the genius, for using it for abundance, using it for health, using it to clear your home, using it to do global healing. And the genius is an extension of your intention. You know, if your intention is very clear and strong, it will be amplified by the genius. And that is why people who come with a very clear and strong intention get the best results. And you can bring that into your private practice. You can bring it into the work you do with your family. Whenever your intention is very strong, it's combining with the algorithms and energy of the genius. So the genius does not work like you're pushing a button when you're just creating an effect. The genius is powerful because you're powerful. And it's always, each person's practice is unique and different, because it is how you interact with the software, and that has a life and energy of its own. And we always are trying to honor that. During the early days, you know, I would talk to Ryan, we would talk about the genius. Hang on one second. And I would ask him, you know, how does this work? How do we explain this to the genius user base? And he would often say, you know, we want to outline the basic process of how it works, but we also want to allow the users and practitioners to take this in their own direction. And so we've always had this sense of allowing, and we don't really dictate to you what your practice needs to be. Rather, we try to give you some structure and some guidelines based on what we've observed could be the best practices for you to get the best outcome. And anybody can learn the genius. You never have to be a health practitioner. It's just your unique interest. I believe that this is a personal development tool that everyone should have access to. I love the calls that we receive from people where they say, you know, I'm not a practitioner, you know, is it okay if I use this? Yes. Many of our users are the lay practitioner who utilizes this for themselves and their family. And that's as far as they ever go. And that's okay, because they're improving their life. Like, this should be a basic tool. Like, a lot of people, you know, we're thinking about the basic things that you utilize in your life every day that are important to you. Well, the genius is part of that. You know, something that you could check. Why shouldn't you be checking every day? Hey, what's going on with myself? Where am I on a mind, body, spirit level? The genius gives you the ability to tap into that each and every day. And because of that, you understand yourself better and you can make better decisions. You can also run frequencies to improve yourself. That is very important. It's so important to have a quantum biofeedback tool, but not everyone can afford a quantum biofeedback tool that is $30,000, $40,000. This allows most people to come to the table at our entry-level programs and say, yeah, I'd like to give it a try. It's really fun, having done this for a long time now, to see community that goes back to 2014, 2015, 2017. They're still using their genius. You just don't see that with other types of toys that people get. They get something, they're excited about how it could be used. Oh, it's based on quantum physics. It's this, it's that. It's going to analyze some part of whatever balance, but they don't use it on a regular basis. They pull it out once a month. They pull it out a couple times a year. Maybe they have to repay to get it rolling again. So now they have to pay for it. With the Genius, it's none of that. You own it, you use it. It's on your iPad, it's on your iPhone. It's everywhere that you're going. So you can easily take it on the airplane, to the other side of town, whatever you're doing. And then we have great, support, and we also, training on a regular basis. So you're always tapped into our live experience of the Genius. It's very sort of isolating to get a wonderful piece of technology, but then not understand how to use it and not have people to talk about with it or see that there's ongoing regular training. This really keeps the energy alive, and we're so grateful to be a part of that. Now, just a few things about the Genius. The Genius works through a sophisticated voice analysis engine. It was originally developed at MIT, and then the developer, Ryan Williams, took that and molded it, and the voice engine is one of the most impressive parts of the Genius because of the accuracy we're able to derive based on the energetics of the voice. So basically, we interpret the frequency, we then compare that to other frequencies, and each frequency is tested, so it goes through its paces, and then the results are given a number between 0 and 777. The numbers that you're looking for are high or low numbers that are above 200 and numbers that are below 600. Those numbers, numbers that are above 600 and below 200. So those numbers show you where the edges are, and those edges are considered to be reactive. In other words, they're identifying the most important frequencies for you to be running for yourself today. Now, today is a question and answer class where you can ask all of your questions. No question is too basic. We are coming up on the time of year where people who have not used their Genius for a while are going to get a message that says the app is no longer available. I can assure you, having done this for, like I said, over 10 years, the app is always available. But Apple has certain rules that it uses, and from time to time, it makes you reload the app as a way for you to opt in and say, yes, I'm still interested in this program. And so you can go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to Learn, and from the Learn menu, you can choose our reinstall link. So geniusbiofeedback.com, Learn, and then reinstall links. We'll probably show that in just a little bit. Okay. Genius Success Weekend is coming up at the end of October. Get in for early pricing. We have a wonderful place, a wonderful location now, and we have discounted rooms. We've already got people signing up. So we have a limited amount of space. If you're thinking about going, you better sign up early. This is going to be an amazing success weekend where we're going to get together. We are going to learn the basics, but we're quickly going to get into doing sessions. How do you start a session? How do you choose your frequencies? How do you interpret the frequencies? How do you see patterns? How do you use your intuition as part of the program, which is very powerful. Then we're going to give you protocols for success. How do you achieve certain goals? It's going to be an amazing weekend. We just come to learn. What I've been amazed about doing these weekends in the past is that people have been part of our community and using the Genius for a while, but for some reason, when they're in person, they go, oh, I didn't understand that at all. Now I totally get it. So it's so fun to see those light bulbs go on for people who join our Success Week. And we always have a great time connecting with all the wonderful people in our community. So please, if you can come and join us, the hotel is reasonably priced. It's nice. It's always good weather in this area. It's easy to fly in. And once you fly into the hotel, you don't have to go anywhere else. You can just be with us in the hotel for the Saturday and Sunday that the class is going on for. So please do join us. And there is an option for registration where you can do it for just $99 a month. So we're going to get that link into the chat in just a moment here. I'm excited to be teaching again. We really weren't able to do it during the pandemic, and we just realized, like, why not, go for it and really get into it and get back. We love to provide beginner training, and I think this is a central location where a lot of people will be able to have access. So most people can get to the Phoenix area from anywhere in the country, and so we really want to welcome you and I know the people who've already signed up. I'm so excited to meet you and get to connect with you. And we always have a lot of progress during these classes as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the link here for you. And we're going to get it up here. We have the address and everything for people who've signed up. We have where to book your hotel and all that good stuff. And it's called Success Weekend. So if you go to geniusbiofeedback.com and you just put in Success Weekend, you can find it there too. All right. Let's see if I can get this to cooperate. All of a sudden my computer just completely stopped working. I do want to take your questions. So any questions that you have, I know sometimes you have technical issues. So technical issues, what we want to do is go ahead and send a message, support@geniusbiofeedback.com, support@geniusbiofeedback.com. Okay, Success Weekend. So we want to share this link with you so that you can sign up right away. You can sign up for as little as $99 per month. So if you just don't want to take care of it all at one time, we have an installment plan for you, and we want you to be part of that. All right, so this is what the weekend is going to cover. You can read more about it here: stem cell activation, anti-aging, telomeres, things like that. We're going to be showing how to do that with the Genius. So you do get a process book with this. Okay, so that is Success Weekend. And while I'm here, I just want to show a couple more things. And that is that you can get all the reinstall links right here. So you can get all of the links for reinstalling your Genius at geniusbiofeedback.com. Yep. And geniusbiofeedback.com. Here's all the reinstall links in case you get Genius not available, Genius app not available. And then also, please make sure you're part of our affiliate program. We are about to announce, I'm going to share with you in just a moment, our affiliate challenge for the month. So go ahead and join our affiliate program. Anybody can join our affiliate program. Please go ahead and register here. You can see all about creating your own links. And we'd love for you to be part of our affiliate program. Like I said, anybody can join that. And I want to tell you what the benefits are of being part of our affiliate program. So also, we're at the end of week 4. We're beginning week 5 for our research study, or might be at the end of week 5. Week 5, and we're beginning week 6. So thank you to everybody in the study. I am crunching all the numbers. At the end of week 2, we were already at an average of 25% reduction in symptoms. This is for people who just run some of the basic frequency of the Genius, just 15 minutes per day. Just 15 minutes per day is really showing us that the effect is profound for people who run the Genius frequencies. At the end of week 3, we were at 32% average reduction in symptoms. Some people are making incredible strides. And what's really interesting is that these are people who have had the Genius for some time. And I think what happens is you guys are so giving to other people that you've been running sessions for others and not for yourself on a regular basis. And now you're really focusing and running these frequencies for yourself. We're getting incredible results, and we're going to be able to share them with you. We're going to have all of it documented. We're going to have it in literature, brochures, so you can share this with other people. We're going to break it down also into the different areas: sleep, brain function, all of these things that people have been making really incredible improvements in. We've never had the evidence for it. Now we can show other people the kind of strides that people make when they balance for just 15 minutes a day on the most basic frequencies of the Genius. That means anybody can do it, even if they're on the trial. So we're going to have a really great class on this. When it's all done, we're going to welcome the entire community. I want to really thank each and every one of you who have every single day been part of our study and are going and dutifully running that Genius process that we defined for you. We really appreciate it. It's going to help other people to make an informed decision about getting their Genius. Now, we do have an affiliate challenge for the month of August. For the person who has the dollar sales that are the highest, they're going to get an additional bonus of cash in your hand, $500 cash bonus. So in addition to any commissions, which is a 20% commission, that can be as high as $1,600. We're also going to give you an additional $500. We want you to be successful as we become successful. So please do join our affiliate program, become part of our affiliate program with that link in the chat. Anybody can choose to become an affiliate. We'd love to welcome you into our affiliate program. You're also going to be able to choose any remedy plate of your choice. So if you already have a remedy plate, You can just come in. There are a couple of exceptions that are noted in the details, but for the most part, some of our, our sacred geometry plate or the purple remedy plate, some of the ones, the copper tracings remedy plate, you can sort of choose another one if you already have one, or maybe you're going to get your first one. So be sure to go to geniusbiofeedback.com, start here, and then share and learn. So geniusbiofeedback.com, start here menu, and then share and learn. If you can't find it, you can just email me, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. We want to warmly welcome you into our affiliate program where we pay 20% of the package that the person purchases. So it could be quite a good commission, well over $1,000 for a lot of people who refer us, and we're more than happy to pay out. Usually people say, wow, I didn't expect it to be that much. I'm really surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. I really could use this money. And then we're going to give a $500 cash bonus on top of that. All right, today we're talking about spinal energy. We already have somebody who has volunteered to be tested today. I've already loaded their information into the program. We may or may not have their voice, but we do have their picture. So I know she's joining us from Australia. If you'd like to volunteer, you can email me, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. What we'll do next week is we'll do brain function. So we're going to talk about neurotransmitters. We're going to talk about cognitive function. So if you have something you want to improve, brain function, focus, attention, intelligence, whatever it might be sure you send me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. I'd like to volunteer for next week. Let me know. You can put your hand up and let me know by emailing me. So today we're talking about spinal energy. What I really want you to know is that the spinal energy panel is extremely powerful. And you need to really understand the anatomy of our spine in order to understand why it's so powerful and how it can be related to all the other organs, muscles, and glands of the body. So this is super important. The more you can understand your own body, how anatomy works, physiology works, the more you can really help people. Because if you can understand how it works, you can understand what happens when it goes wrong, and you can understand what frequencies to use to help them. We have 3 parts of our spine. Actually, technically we have 5. So the 3 major parts are the cervical, that's going to be around your neck. Then we have the thoracic spine, that's basically sort of from the top rib to the lowest rib. That's going to define where your thoracic spine is. And then the lumbar spine is really that lower spine. A lot of people get problems with their lower back. The size of the vertebra sort of increases as you go down. That's the bones that you're looking at here. And then there are 2 other parts of the spine. That's going to be the coccyx and the sacrum. So there are other parts of the spine we're not showing here, and they are included on the spinal energy panel. So when you look at the spine itself, again, we just want to be able to do side view. Here's all the cervical, here's the thoracic, here's the lumbar. What you're looking at is a series of bones stacked, one on top of the other. When we think about it, we think, oh, the spine gives us structure. Yes and no. So the bones themselves have a compressive force of no more than 200 pounds. So if somebody were a weightlifter and they were to pick up a 400-pound barbell or whatever, this is that they're lifting, right? Squats or whatever deadlift it might be. You only have 200 pounds of compressive force within the bone. So the bones themselves provide structure, but something you're not seeing that's really important that you could actually work on with the Genius is the ligaments. We have many crisscrossing ligaments back and forth throughout the spine, and those crisscrosses create a very powerful strengthening force called tensegrity. And so they are important as well as the actual bones themselves. And that's what you're looking at with the spine. You're just looking at the bones, which you call the vertebra. So for now, just looking at the bones, understanding that the ligaments play a part as well, we can see that we have C1 through C7. That's 7 parts of the vertebra, of the cervical vertebra. Then we have the thoracic spine. So we have T1 through T12. We have 12 vertebra that make up the thoracic spine. Lumbar, 1 through 5. Okay, that's the largest ones. And of course, we know that sort of people, when they lift up heavy objects, they might get a herniated disc. This happens a lot in the lumbar spine. And then you can see down here, we have the sacral part of the spine. So we have S1 through S5, those teeny tiny bones. And then we also have the coccyx. And these are shown on our Genius biofeedback program. Now, I wanted to give you another view, just because these views really help you understand what's going on here. So once again, the cervical vertebra, the thoracic vertebra, the lumbar vertebra. But what's really important, what you need to know is, here's the bones, right? Okay, you're like, all right, so these are the bones. This is the spinal energy. What's going on here? What's important? Is this just about the bones? Is it testing the bones? When I look at those results and I see C1, T11, and so forth, is it just the bones? No. What you're really looking at is the energetics of the nerves that are emerging from the spine. So let's really understand that. Once you understand this anatomical piece, you're really going to be a lot smarter about your cases and understanding the interpretation. So when we look here, we see an opening. And so this is called the vertebral foramen. So we have a spinal cord, right, that runs through the center of the spine, which is back here. So these are the bone supports. And then we have a spine, the electrical energy that comes from the brain and central part of the spine is called the central nervous system. But just like you have wires that branch out from a main energy source, it's really amazing. You have all of this wiring or nerves that flow out from the vertebral foramen. So from each spinal segment, in between the spinal segments, you're going to have these nerves come out on the left and come out on the right. Well, where do these nerves go once they are ready to, innervate something, give electricity to something, give energetic support, make it come alive? Well, these nerves go out and they go to muscles, organs, and glands. So they are the electrical supply to your biceps, to your liver, to your pancreas, to your adrenals, to your heart. All of these nerves are innervating. That means give power supply to all these other parts of the body. So the flow through the spine is essential. If we cut off energy, when you have a tight muscle or a bone, a spinal segment moves out of alignment, it causes a compressive energy that blocks the free flow of all of that innervation. And so when that happens, you're no longer getting proper information about, running that muscle or running that liver. You're not getting that same communication. You're not getting that same flow of energy. And that's where the rubber meets the road with all of this. So when you see C1, C2, C7, something has caused the energy to no longer flow from the central nervous system to the peripheral nervous system. And when you put that into the tray, you're endeavoring to improve that flow. So that's what's really going on here. Just fun to see some of the actual X-ray images, and you can see more of the sort of the live, what's going on with the spine, how important it is that sort of flexes and extends. One of the sort of banes of human existence is that we get caught in flexion, and the phone and texting did not make things better. So we tend to do this all the time, right? Text, neck, as they say, but also we're sitting in chairs, right? So that hip is always flexed, and we might be leaning over. So a lot of our time is spent in flexion, and a lot of things become compressed, or muscles become weakened because we're in flexion so much. So that's why yoga really emphasizes that energy of extension. And when you extend back and you start to open everything up again, you get a lot more flow of energy. So those are some of the challenges that we face and things that we're endeavoring to fix or make better when we're running the spinal energy panel. So you can kind of see these vertebral bodies and the intervertebral discs, and of course the nerves come out. They can't really be visualized through those spinal foramen. It's just really fun to study anatomy, understanding the basics of anatomy and physiology. You have so much more empowerment in your own life to understand your own health. We can also help a lot of other people, and that's what we do in the practitioner classes. We are getting ready to launch new practitioner courses that are going to be exclusively online, and we'll talk more about those in coming weeks. Okay, now you can find different spinal nerve charts. Let me go grab the one that's famous that we have now. If you go to our blog, let me stop this camera for a second. If you go to our blog at geniusbiofeedback.com, go to Learn and then find the blog. So geniusbiofeedback.com, go to the Learn menu, then click on the blog. You're going to see all the handouts for today. So you can find a handout that is similar to this one that we've done in-house here, and then is included in the success cards. So if you have our desk reference success cards, you already have this. You could just go ahead and grab that information. We have something like that on our website, geniusbiofeedback.com. Okay, so when we go to this, we have our spinal energy, and you can look here and utilize these cards. Spinal nerve function. Every cell of your body has a nerve component to it. I love that. And here they're showing the connections of these nerves to these different parts of the body, and then the symptoms. So when you have, C6 is red or T1 is red, now you know more, or it's blue. Now you can go to these charts and you can really say, oh gosh, this makes sense for this person's symptoms. They have these symptoms related to these areas in the spinal nerve. So it makes sense that this would be probably out of balance. So I want to put it in the tray and work on it. So spinal energy is so cool from this perspective that it really has this connection to other parts of the body. And this is just a close-up of some of the spinal nerves. Just fascinating to see them. And remember, they're coming from the spine, and then they're going to the different muscles, trapezius, intercostals, pancreas, stomach, all these things. So we want that flow of energy from the spine to be really, really open. That's another goal of yoga. Why is yoga constantly working on the spine, right? In yoga, they talk about the Sushumna Nadi. They're trying to open up the spiritual, but the physical, we are mind, body, and spirit. We are one. There's no separation. Like, where could you separate out mind, body, and spirit? It would be impossible. And so just as we're working on the spirit with yoga, the physical yoga is helping. Spirit can help, the Kundalini to rise, but it's really important to work on the physical part of the body too, which is also made better through this work on the spine. Okay, now we're going to just go back to the website for a moment, just so we can show where the handouts are for today. And then we're going to go into our case. So we already have our person. I'm not sure if our person is awake because it's in Australia. So she really wanted to be worked on and sent us her information. So we do that from time to time. What we want to do now is, okay. I just got a notification. We got a bunch of people signing up for the in-person training for Success Weekend. Warm welcome to you. I'm so excited to meet you and work with you during our Success Weekend. That's really cool. Now, I want to make sure that we go to geniusbiofeedback.com and just go ahead and show this, that we do have the handouts for today. If you go to the Learn menu, and we have a lot of things on the Learn menu for you to check out. But if you go to our blog right here, then you will find the spinal energy for today. So we have one for spinal energy balancing, where this is, oh, there you go. Okay, so there's some different things here. We've got that one. And then we've also got another sort of interpretation here, where we've got the spinal energy quick guide, which is on the success card. So today you can get a PDF version of that and have that handy, a little bit of a bonus for everybody coming to class. And now you can make those connections. Really, the exciting part of biofeedback is not just, I'm going to test the reds and blues and then I will find things out. It's about you making the connections. Wow, I saw their liver come up in the beginning in the organs, and then I saw it come up again through the spinal energy, and then I saw it come up again through emotions, because liver being related to anger, resentment, biliousness, as they call it. You can become an amazing practitioner and interpret so many things that somebody's going through in their life. All right, so we've got the picture. I'm just working on the picture of Sharon, who is our person who sent me their information. And from there, we're going to go into some things on the Genius. So I'm going to bring this up on an app called the Reflector. The Reflector allows me to project my Genius onto a screen. So we're going to see right here on the screen, coming up nice and bright, is our Genius on an iPad Pro. So we're going to look at that right now. And just go ahead and put in this code over to the device so that we can share this live. And we're going to get started on our case. Okay, I know that you had some questions, so we're going to read the questions from the chat in just a moment. All right, so there is our Genius. And once we've recorded our voice and our picture, we're going to go ahead and hit the play button. Now, I did skip the voice just for this purpose of today doing this class. and I did get the picture, but I was able to analyze it as I was sort of getting everything set up. All right, so let's go ahead and see. Okay, Terry's here. Terry, welcome from Atlanta. Laura's from New Hampshire. Isabel joining us from France. That's wonderful. Switched over to YouTube, Randy. That's totally fine. And Sharon joining us from Australia. Sharon, we're working on your case right now. Tammy's joining us from, or maybe Rachel's joining us from Ormond Beach. So great. And okay, so Audra says, it's been a while. Can you provide a brief instruction for the latest email referring to the urgent iOS download? So what was meant by the urgent iOS download is just what I said. Every single year, if you've not used your Genius for a while, then you'll get a notification, Genius app not available, freaks everybody out, but they just need to use our reinstall link. So where I showed the reinstall links, geniusbiofeedback.com, learn, go to reinstall links, and then all you need to do is just do a fresh install, delete your icon, reinstall, and you will be ready to roll. So it's not anything that anybody needs to be, I don't know why we had to say it was urgent, but it scares the pants off of everybody, but what can you do? Will this event be live streamed? In the past, it hasn't. So if you're able to come join us in person, we absolutely love it. And we will let you know if the live October 28th and October 29th will be live streamed. We'll update you, but I wouldn't rely on it. Try to see if you can come in person and be with us. We'd love to have you live there. Okay, so can you suggest how to work with severe adhesions and scar tissue in the pelvic area? Yeah, definitely. I think we have something, we have a couple of libraries for that. Okay, I haven't been downloading the updates along the way. You never have to update, you never have to download the updates along the way. That's a really, really good thing to talk about. All you need to do is just come in at the latest update, and then you didn't miss any, you did miss some things, but you're really just going to be up to speed by downloading the latest update. You don't have to go back and do the previous updates. Okay, practitioners scan themselves last, says Laura. I know. Okay. Julie says, what you just said is so true. I forget to run my own scan a lot of the days because there are others that are sicker and need it. See, you guys, I'm so grateful that you're doing the Genius Research Project for those of you that are doing it. Well, what a beautiful aura. It almost looks like a sunrise. So I know it's very late there. It's the middle of the night in Australia, I believe. So Sharon, thank you, sir, for volunteering. This is a beautiful aura, just really bright, vibrant colors. I mean, it's also what's really interesting about this aura is it really extends very far. So I really like that about the aura, but they're really high vibrational colors. There's a lot of flow. There's a lot, there's a lot of vitality actually coming through from this aura. Okay. Hi, I was out of the country for 4 weeks when this program started. Where can I get this info? Ayana, welcome. I'm not sure which info you're referring to, so just shoot me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com, and we'll definitely get you up to speed. I joined this program and have indeed sold a couple of geniuses. And Terry, thank you for being such a wonderful referral person. And what's really fun about people who refer, yes, we get to compensate you with the 20%. That's just really fun to see. Now we have new friends and new people to join our community. It's fun to see that chain, how it really grows. It's really cool. Okay, can you explain how the Genius compiles the rectification numbers? That's always like, it's like an oldie but a goodie. So I love this question about rectification. So let's take a look at it. So we have our beginning aura, looks great. Let's go ahead to spinal energy and talk about it, and then we can talk about rectification. So the spinal energy panel is reflective of that energy coming from, based on the energy flowing from those nerves through the vertebral foramen. Okay, so that's really, and it could also be considered to be the health of the actual vertebra themselves, whether they're in alignment or out of alignment. But the ultimate upshot of them being in alignment or out of alignment is going to be how much flow is then going to be allowed through those nerves that come through the vertebral foramen. See, if your spine sort of shifts to the left or shifts to the right, moves forward, moves back, which is what your chiropractor will tell you about being out of alignment, then for sure it's going to have an influence on the adjacent spinal nerve, which then affects the flow through the organs and glands and muscles. Okay, so when you look at this, you're looking at it first anatomically. So you're imagining that this is the person's right neck. This is the cervical vertebra. So what does their neck look like in terms of energy? That's what you're seeing here. This is why this view is valuable, the first view that you look at. And it's going to change in a minute. So let's take a look here, see if I can grab this. Okay, so C1 looks good, but then when you go to C2, C3, and C4, now you see the imbalances. It's interesting to look physically. It's like C1 is good, but almost like where the pressure and the problem is at C3, but then also maybe all these muscles are tight in here. Maybe this has to do with their work. There's something happening in that mid-cervical spine, C2, C3, and C4. C3 might be the worst one. These might be trying to compensate. These might be getting taken along for the ride with tight muscles. Something's going on there. Then we've got C5, C6. They look great. C7 and T1, see how they're together physically. That's interesting that they're out of balance. And that really does happen. If your cervical spine is out of balance in some way, then your lumbar spine comes in to try to compensate. So that's really something to think about. So I like this sort of stacked version. And boy, we picked a wonderful person. Thanks for volunteering, because we got a lot of things going on in that spine. So this is something really, wow, what is going on? Now, I like to take a look from top to bottom first. And we've got the energy of the sacrum in one frequency defined. There's probably several frequencies in there. Even though there's different vertebra in there, it's just going to give you one frequency combined for the spine and one frequency combined for the coccyx. So we look at it first like this and we see, oh man, a lot going on in that thoracic spine. But I also like to switch the view. If you go right up here to the top right, I like to do it from top to bottom in terms of numbers. So now I can instantly see that thoracic 8 is the highest red item. So let's go ahead and let's go to thoracic 8. And I'm going to look on this handout that we just gave to you on the blog, and you can look at it as well. Here it says the spleen and the diaphragm. So maybe there's a blockage in the diaphragm. Maybe there's a problem with breathing. Okay, and it's T, thoracic 8 is related to immune system issues, chronic viruses, and chronic infections. And the emotion is self-sabotage, not digesting events in life long enough to learn from them. So that's the emotional lesson. Some of this is based on the work of Louise Hay. So we can look at that. And let's also look at the lowest blue item. So these are different techniques for working with the spinal energy panel. Let's look now at the lowest blue item, C3. So the cervical spine, C3, it relates to the teeth. So maybe there's some tooth decay, or the facial nerve, C3, nerve irritation, acne, eczema, skin issues. And then the lesson is not wanting to take personal responsibility. And I'm soft with, we all have shades of this. We all have issues with something like this. This is nothing like we want to say, oh, you have this, like probably I have it, you have it. We all have some collective sharing of that issue. If we're seeing the issue in others, it's probably a reflection of something within ourselves to some degree. So thoracic 9, that might be interested to look at too. And it's interesting that thoracic 8 is the highest and thoracic 9 is one of the lowest. And then look at this, 11 and 10. So man, that thoracic area is a huge issue, right? That screams at us to look at it. So T9 is adrenal glands. T10 is kidneys. T11 is kidney. So I would write that down, and I want to look at all things kidney and all things adrenal, because that seems to be up for this person. So let's talk about some quick zap techniques. For a quick zap technique, you could take the highest red, or maybe the top 3 highest red items. And then you could also take the lowest 3 items. So we're going to do sort of a quick balance of a few items. And then we have them in the tray. When we add some other things, we sort of say, let me bring up the solfeggio. I want to take the solfeggio tones, and I want to take 528 hertz transformation and miracles. And I sort of want to bring that into the fold. I want to bring to bear, or bring to these thoracic vertebra or other vertebra that are out of balance, the energy of 528. So I want to put them all together like a little recipe. And then I'm going to choose that 1 minute here for just the purposes of our class being short for time. And now I could have done other things too. I could have done other solfeggios. Oops. I could have done other solfeggio tones. I could have done sacred geometry. It's like, what do I want to mix up? How do I want to transform that spinal energy? What other energy do I want to put in there together? I want to create transformation and miracles in this spinal energy issue. So that's why I'm bringing them all together as one in this tray. Now, when we do rectification, because the genius always runs the Schumann resonance, and because it has the person's voice, it has their energy, there is a possibility that it is reading their energy. But the real, what we know in black and white, sort of nuts and bolts, is that this is a program. This is an if-then program. It's a very sophisticated probability program. Oh, great work. And what it says is that given the voice, given the picture, if we run, and given all these results, if we run this exact combination of frequencies for this exact amount of time, we predict that their rectification will be 59%. Now, that sounds like, oh, it's a prediction. It's very real. And it can be highly accurate. If you're able to analyze patterns in a very efficient way, in the way that the genius is, this outcome can be spot on for accuracy. So 59%, let's go ahead and check now. How did it change the aura? So this is the beginning aura. There you go. What happens when we take 1 minute and now we transform, we change in some way? What happens to the aura? So it's the same calculation with the aura. If we ran the frequencies for this amount of time, what result will we get in the aura? And then here we go. We can show this to the client. We can send it to them. We can send it to their quantum capsule. Holy moly, what an amazing outcome. Sharon, that's amazing. So she's really very receptive to the frequencies, and it's a lovely outcome where we're really moving to higher energies. We're really clearing things out. And let's go ahead and look at this. So this was a little bit not as vibrant, but beautiful colors, beautiful higher vibrational colors, right? You got pink, crown chakra. You've got this blue, which is related to sixth chakra, but it's like a very bright powder blue. And then we move to here, like, wow, especially that solfeggio, that's still that good old 528 solfeggio. It's so powerful. Like, you could sort of just always include it in your balancing and you're going to get amazing results, like super, super high level impact with that 528 or any of the solfeggios, which is amazing. So we've got that. Let's go back to our genius and go ahead now and take a look back to spinal energy. So back to everything being stacked up. So let's go ahead and we're going to clear this one. We're going to work in a different tray now. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to collect all the top red items. We're going to collect all the bottom blue items. So we've got all the top red. We've got all the bottom blue. We've got 15 items. And now we want to say, what I would always do is I would encourage you to combine these with emotions or flower essences. So let's get in the flower essences right here, because these are the energetic pathways for the emotions to move and to heal. And they're very gentle, but they can be very, very powerful. So now we have all of the Bach flower essences. Now let's go ahead and take the solfeggios as well for good measure. So we want to get the solfeggios in there. Oh my goodness, why is it so hard to find? There we go. Let's go ahead and get, wow, that's interesting that she is all red and all blue on a lot of those. Let's now move into the progressive insights and go to the scan for progressive insights. And now what we're finding out is sort of a new awareness. So we balance those thoracics. When we put everything together into progressive insights, what information, when we test all of these compared to each other, we get a new awareness. That new awareness is, wow, it looks like the cervical spine, the coccyx is interesting. A lot of people, their coccyx is all messed up from posture, maybe even going back to birth. And so this is something that wants to be worked out. And then we see that the cervical spine is actually really sort of crying for help here. Get a little sip of water there. Okay, so it's really crying for help, C2, C7, C3, and then we move on to the thoracic. So isn't that interesting that the cervical is actually a little bit more prioritization here? And then we've got C2, which is the eyes, the ears, the sinuses, the tongue, the forehead, the optic nerve, the auditory nerve. C7 is the thyroid gland. And then C3 is the teeth and the facial nerves and so on and so forth. So that's just really interesting to see them all kind of grouped together. And then we've got some flower essences. Vervain. So vervain, let's go ahead and look at vervain. I always get vervain and vine confused. Vervain is very fixed in our ideas. So what we want to do, I meant to mute the microphone. I ended up coughing. I'm so sorry. I did the other one. Okay, so I think you guys are fine. What we see with vervain is very fixed in ideas, learning to channel this energy for the highest good. Vine and vervain are kind of connected because it's when we want to push our influence about certain ideas onto other people, and that's very common for healers. We want to bring the best information to people to help them to heal. So, but with vervain, what we're looking for is flexibility. And what I really note with vervain is that it can be related to kidney energy. So when kidney energy is stuck, we're very stuck in our ideas, in our habits, and so we want to get that kidney energy moving. Now, after just 1 minute, we only had 23% rectification. So we're not moving through these very quickly. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to come out here and I'd like to look at the meridians. When I look at the meridians, we don't really see an active kidney or bladder. Do we see anything with bladder meridian? Also seems to be pretty balanced. So let's look at something else. Let's look at the organs. Right here in organs. Let's see if any of that comes up. So lungs, kidneys, bladder, they're not coming up. So that doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. Let's do one more thing. Let's go back to the meridian, and just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and grab that kidney meridian. And there really are just a few items in the top one. Let's bring down the points from the kidney meridian, and let's bring it down here. It is close to 200. And let's see where it ranks when we go to progressive insights. Let's see if any of that comes up in progressive insights. So let's see what happens. So those kidney energies actually do go to the top, which is really fascinating. Now, Larch is about developing more confidence in yourself. And Centauri, let's see what Centauri is about. Finding balance in serving others and nurturing yourself. So not only giving out to others, also turning it, and making sure you're getting that nurturing, just like the people who are doing the study, who are doing the sessions on themselves. So what is so cool about the genius is you're the witness to the person telling you their story. You are the witness to the person telling you their story through the frequencies. And if you can become a good interpreter of that information, you will really help people in their lives. And I want to do this for another minute, and then I want to talk a little bit about frequency, shape, and form, just to show you some of your options. Okay, can you remove the avatar to see the whole aura? We can go back and do that. Should we check all things related to C1, such as middle ear and migraines? Is it all things that will be off, or maybe just an emotional connection? So yeah, not everything that comes up under C1 is going to be something that they're related to. So, but you want to look at all that information to sift and sort through, see what resonates for them, and then do testing with frequencies in that area. Okay, can you review the sync records process? I don't see a link here for the Spinal PDF. You have to go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to learn, and then it will be on the blog. So now we're at a 38% rectification. We're looking for 40%, but if I get close, then I just like to do a rescan. So if I'm close, I'm just going to do a rescan and see what comes up. I tuned in late and I missed the link for this document so that we don't post it anymore in the chat because nobody ever is able to get it because they come in at different times. And I'm so thankful that you're joining us. Go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to the Learn menu, and then click on the latest blog entry and you can get the download as well as other downloads that were posted in previous weeks. Can you provide the link to the charts? Go to geniusbiofeedback.com, go to Learn, and go to the blog. Okay, though I never knew the scale was there to change from mixed to high and low 0 to 100. I never knew the scale was there to change it from mixed to high and low to 100. I'm not sure about that. Okay, so now what we got was 285 hertz. Now 285 hertz, it says here expressing uniqueness, but if you go to my success cards, you can get a much deeper dive on the solfeggios. And this is really 285 is to restore organs and glands and tissue to their normal home frequency. To restore organs, glands, and tissues to their regular optimal home frequency. That's what 285 hertz is for. Pine is about releasing any guilt that we have about situations. And there's that kidney meridian showing up strong about that energy of flow, water, hydration, also just allowing, right? The energy of downstream, just allowing the river to take you rather than, rowing against the tide, against, going upstream. Okay, does the genius spinal imbalances correct spinal misalignments? Not necessarily. What we're doing is we're changing energy. So does changing energy allow the person to relax so that their muscles relax and the spinal alignment then occurs? It could. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your great questions. And there's one here in Q&A. And I have a right kidney atrophied to half the size of the left. That's from our participant, our volunteer for today. So she did indeed have some kidney issues. My goodness. So that's amazing how accurate the genius can be. So now we've got the C4, C2, a lot of that cervical vertebra stuff still percolating up. Cherry plum is when a lot of emotions have been built up and now we're ready to release them. So that could be coming up from the work that we're doing. So we'd want to balance here for another minute. Now, I'm just going to pause that because I did want to go to frequency, shape, and form first. So when you're doing your balancing, you can become a bit of a connoisseur about the tones and the different types of frequencies that you are giving to your client or running for yourself. So let's go up to the frequency, shape, and form, and let's see what options that we have. So it says the default tone generator. So let's listen. We can always do a sound preview. Default tone generator is that nice sort of the chimes that we hear in the bells. So let's listen to it together. So we all know that one. So now let's listen to the sonic signature. Now, sonic signature, it's a little hard to hear. This was the original version of those sounds that we had with the Genius before the overlay tones, which you hear on the default generator. I think they're quite powerful. So today, I want you to give this a try. I want you to see, how do you experience the frequencies with default tone generator, the one that we always have? How does it feel different when you use the sonic signatures? So sonic signatures, I also, sonic signatures generates a clean, measurable, known set or series of frequencies. For example, 459, 756. So I think that actually removes the harmonics. So I think you're not getting the harmonics you get, but sonic signature, it's so clear and it comes through. I feel it very powerfully. So I think it's sort of equivalent of using a Rife machine because it's just the frequencies, folks. I just want the frequencies. Whereas with the default tone generator, you're getting a lot of harmonics and other frequencies that I believe the developer has added in the background as sort of a sweet, sweet spot. Activate archetype encoding, a sophisticated mathematical approach to sound generation techniques whereby, this is the 18th century, whereby any text can be converted to harmonic vibrations and audio sounds. This is ideal when creating libraries with no known frequency values. What I'm confused about is that relates to input and this one is related to output. So I'm not sure what's happening here, but let's just, without that explanation, let's go ahead and listen to the frequencies on archetype encoding. Okay, so it's the least exciting, the least palatable for that person to listen to. So you might want to use this when you're running remote frequencies, right? You're just remoting them out to the person because it's pretty powerful. I really want you to try the 3. And when you come to class next week, I'd love to get your input. What did you experience? I want you to just write down your experience. What did you experience with the default tone generator? What did you experience with the sonic signatures? And what did you experience with the archetype encoding? And let's share our experiences. Now, wave or power intensity, good for clients resistant to change, increases the power output of the signals. However, signals may become distorted as you get to a higher intensity. Now, I do use an intensity for like an emergency situation. Somehow in my head, it's like, oh, it's going to be more powerful. It's going to be quicker. I think that really is just related to our thoughts. I personally think less is more. And just the subtlety of the frequencies already in the Genius, I tend to stick with the default. Now, ambient sounds masks the frequencies by creating an additional overlay of tones. What you can do here that you may not know is you could test for what is the best form of sounds for that person today. Now, for some reason, I think the chimes and bells always play, but let's go ahead and see what we've got. Let's go ahead and clear. So we clear the energy. Now let's do super conscious select. We're asking their higher consciousness, innate intelligence, to tell us which ambient soundscapes would be best for receiving the frequencies today. Okay, super conscious select. Let's see what we've got here. Now it tests and tells us the animal sounds are the best. So we have animal sounds in here. Let's go ahead and get a sound preview. Okay, so I think he removed the chimes and bells. And you only hear the animals. I think he did that. So I think he responded to the request of the community. Now it sounds terrible. I just think it sounds like a cacophony, but let's try something else, okay? Let's stop these for a second. Let's go back to sonic signatures, and now let's listen to the sound. That's different types of animal sounds, right? Or maybe we couldn't hear them. This is like seagulls. Why is it only seagulls? I don't understand. But anyway, it's animal sounds, and they do play in the background. So that's interesting. So, sonic signature is kind of fascinating. It's quite like sort of a haunting frequency. And what it reminds me of, is when somebody's doing emotional release work, this could be quite powerful. Just let's listen to it one more time. It sort of brings to mind that sort of intensity of emotion and a depth. So that could be quite powerful. And now let's go to the default generator and hear the animal sounds with the default generator. Oh, it plays a different animal sound. Now it's crickets. Never ceases to amaze me. Okay, it's a little hard to distinguish what is what's going on there, but it sounds like a combination of chirping, and we've got the chimes and the bells. And let's hear nature sounds here with the default generator, and we can unclick that one. I think it's maybe rain, but you can play around with it, or you can use Superconscious Select. There's also these additional overlay. You don't really hear it, but these are more frequencies that will play in the background that will assist in these different areas. So another thing that you can do is you can clear here, and you can also go to Superconscious Select, and just as an accommodation for that client, like sort of something you're adding to the whole picture, is let them see what comes up here, what is chosen for them today, dealing with chronic fatigue. And you guys, you would be so blown away. I would suggest starting to test with this. You're going to be so blown away. This could also give you a little hint about the case. So they may be dealing with CMV or Epstein-Barr, and it may come up as chronic fatigue, needing these isochronic tones. Now the waveform, I did an extensive explanation of the different waveforms in my training program. So if you have access to any of the packages that we have here, we put you in the learning portal, and then we gave you these different videos, and one of them is on the different waves. And so I'm not going to get into them too much at the moment, but sine wave is really good when you're working on something related to the body function. So you want the physical body to improve, sine wave. You want to work on infections, viruses, fungus, parasites, square wave, similar to Rife machines. Sawtooth, it tends to like go up quickly and then up quickly and then down, and then up quickly and then down. It creates literally a sawtooth type of a pattern. And so when you want to, and think about a saw, right? When you want to break up adhesions or fascia is really, stuck, or there's stuck emotions or stuck patterns, use the sawtooth waveform as a facilitator to break those things up. All right, so let's go back here. So let's just see what we chose in frequency, shape, and form. We're back to the default generator. We're back to the default power intensity. We're back to usually I use alternating here to go through all the different waveforms. We're going to use the nature sounds. Let's see what it sounds like. Chronic fatigue. Okay, so let's go ahead. And now let's go back here. We're going to do high. So now let's play those frequencies. Oh, it's the rain in the background. Okay, whenever I choose frequency, shape, and form is also what client will get through my Quanta capsule. Yes, that's why Ryan made all those changes to the Quanta capsule to accommodate the desire and the request for people to get that sent to their client in the exact form. If we are in the study, do you want us to try the other ones? I would just stick to the process that we gave to you. That's a good question, though. Those of us in the research project, should we wait after our 8 weeks? Yeah, probably just wait. But now you can do it, and you have some additional techniques to work with, which is really, really fun. Okay, let's just see what the ending aura would be in about the 10-second mark. For those of you who came in a little bit after the hour, remember that we have open registration right now for our Genius Biofeedback Success Weekend, which is in Phoenix at the last week in October, right before all the holidays come into view. We can knock that one out of the park. And just when the weather's getting a little chilly or rainy where you are, you can come to sunny Phoenix and hang out with us. So we're going to be having a lot of promotion of this particular weekend, talking about it, but you can get in early. What typically happens, people make up their minds later. Don't do that, because we only have a limited amount of space, and we may have to say that the event is full. So do sign up as early as you can to reserve your spot. You can actually just get started with $99 down. So if you don't want to pay for the whole thing up front, we have a payment plan. There's no interest, no financing. We know sometimes you're like, I got to save up for it. Just get the $99 down and knock it out of the park, get it out of the way. But I'm going to be there. I'm going to be teaching the whole weekend. I'm going to start with the basics, but then I'm going to give you my best strategies for success, how to run really, really powerful scans, how to think about your scan, how to see the patterns. It's really fun when we have volunteers from class and we work in person. We're going to do remedy plate work. We're going to create remedies together. We're going to talk about the best practices to do with your remedy plate. And then we're also going to imprint some media together. So some different stickers, holograms, stones, gemstones. We're going to create some bracelets and things like that. You get to wear them, experience them. And we're also going to talk more about the quanta capsule. So we're going to demystify that quanta capsule practice when we're together for the Success Weekend in person. And once again, I'm always amazed people who come to these events and they say, wow, until I came in person, I never understood that part of the genius. It's amazing. We're different types of learners, but something about being in person, you also get to talk to other people in the community, maybe make a really nice friend for life, and get to talk to other like-minded people, especially if in your local area, maybe they don't understand what you're talking about. It's really nice to talk to people that really get it about energy and vibrational medicine. Okay, so we're going to be back next week talking about brain function, talking about cognitive function. If you'd like to volunteer for that in advance and have me work on you, please do volunteer at Ariel@geniusbiofeedback.com. Send me a message. We'll get all of your information uploaded before class, and then we'll test you in class. Thanks for being part of our Genius community, and we'll see you real soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.